Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the 17th day for our Palo Alto firewall training series. In this video, we are going to talk about network address translation in PA. So, in this video, I'll list out some of the points that I'm going to cover. Is first the type of NAT that can be configured in Palo Alto. And also, I'll just go through the packet flow in Palo Alto and we can understand NAT with respect to it. Okay, NAT understanding. Okay, and also when you configure NAT, what are the points that you have to know, and also when you troubleshoot NAT in real world environment, what are the tips that you can use for. And also if you are like moving from one firewall to another firewall, like let's say if you are working on Cisco ASA and you are moving to Palo Alto, like in your environment the Palo Alto firewall has been introduced, you can make use of these points. And also if you are eager to go into Palo Alto firewall kind of environment, in that case also this video will be very useful. So I'll request you to watch this video till the end so that you can understand these points. These are very important points to understand NAT in Palo Alto firewall. As well as I have seen a lot of viewers who send me email that their labs are not working. So my tip is to please watch the full video so that you can understand the concept as well as the lab scenario, so that they can understand the things and they can do their lab accordingly. That was a small tip that I wanted to give you guys. And if you're new to my channel and you are seeing this video first time, I'll request you to please watch, subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, first of all, we'll try and understand what is NAT. So NAT stands for Network Address Translation. So the meaning of NAT is to translate address. So what address here? The IP address. Okay, so basically the meaning of NAT is translate one address to another address. As simple as that, right? Now we need to understand what is the use case, and first of all we'll hit our first point, which is what are the types of NAT. So in that we'll explore what are the types of NAT and then we'll move further. Okay, so the point is type of NAT, right? So now there are a lot of confusion around us that what type of NAT it is, whether there is a static NAT, there is a dynamic NAT, there is a source NAT, there is a destination NAT, policy based NAT, like that there are a lot of confusion. So I'll just clear the confusion up. So there are two types of NAT. First NAT is source NAT, okay, and there is a destination NAT. Okay, so the source NAT is where your source is getting translated. So whenever a PC or any device sends a traffic towards his destination, he'll be using in his IP header, there will be a source IP address and there will be a destination IP address. So the device which translate the source IP address, which is known as source NAT, and the device which translate the destination IP address, which is called as destination NAT. So in source NAT we have different flavors of NAT, so which is known as static NAT, dynamic NAT, and will also known as PAT. Okay, port address translation. And in destination NAT also there is a static NAT, there is a dynamic NAT, and there is a PAT. Okay, so all the NATs will come into these categories only. So whatever NATs you have configured, if you want to see, it will fall in any of the categories. Okay, if I talk about policy based NAT, okay, so it can fall under any category. So policy based NAT, we can do static, dynamic, and PAT, anything we can do. Okay, so this is the exact type of NAT that I can talk about right now is the source and the destination. So whenever you configure a NAT, you have to think which NAT I am going to configure, whether it's a source NAT and whether it's a destination NAT. Then only you will be able to configure a proper rule of NAT as well as an access list. If I talk about in firewalls, you have to allow access list, then only the NAT will work, right? If somebody is coming from outside, if somebody is going from inside, there will be a NAT. But yeah, in router, yeah, this is not required. You just need an understanding of source or a destination NAT. So today I'm going to cover the static NAT. So static destination NAT and static source NAT. So I'll be configuring with the real-time scenario. I'll just tell you what are the how the packet flow of NAT in Palo Alto firewall, so that you can understand whenever you configure a NAT, you will be having a clear idea of it. So I'll just rub this up and I'll explain you step by step. So friends, first of all, we'll try and understand source static NAT. Okay, so I'll just create a topology and with the help of topology we'll try and understand. So a PC is connected to a switch and switch is connected to a Palo Alto firewall, and this Palo Alto firewall connects to a internet, right? Now this PC IP address is 192.168.10.1, okay, and the PA inside interface, this is inside and this is outside. Okay, the inside IP address is 192.168.10.10 and outside IP address is 200.1.1.1. Okay, now this PC is trying to go to connect internet. So what we are doing is we are just creating a static map of this IP address which we have configured in PA. What is that? 200.1.1.5. Okay, now when the PC initiates the traffic, okay, the source IP would be 192.168.10.1, right? And the destination IP would be like he is trying to access the global DNS. Let's suppose so 8.8.8.8. Okay, now this traffic reaches to Palo Alto firewall. Now what Palo Alto firewall will do, I'll just go through the rules, the flows, sorry. Okay, so first it will receive the traffic. After that, what it does is it do some packet egress processes. I have already explained in the packet flow. After that, it moves down. Okay, and if it is not fast path, what it does is it goes to just let me so it goes to slow path, right? After that it moves further and it looks a forward lookup, the routing table. After that, NAT lookup. As this is not a destination NAT, it will not look up in this because it's a source NAT. What we are doing is source NAT. So it goes here, and after that the policy will be checking over here, and then it will go through all rule matching, creation of sessions and all. After that there will be a firewall processing, and there we will be doing the NAT if required. So what type of NAT there? It is a source NAT. So when this guy goes here, this source and destination, first of all you should be having a access list. So the access list will be source IP 192.168.10.1. so the source will be 192.168.10.1, right? And the destination will be 8.8.8.8, right? So when we configure a policy, we have to configure the policy based on the real IP address, right? This is the real IP. Now when it moves further, the NAT will happen. So the source will become 200.1.1.5 and the destination will be 8.8.8.8, right? So the source is getting changed, and this mapping will be there in Palo Alto firewall for some time. I'll come to that, how long it will be, what is the time value, timeout value and all those things. I'll be coming later, but now for understanding you just think. So the mapping will be there so that whenever the return traffic comes, he just look in the table and allows the connection and send the traffic to PC, back to PC. So this is how the source NAT will go to internet. So now it will go to internet 8.8.8.8. When this 8.8. replies, the source would be 8.8.8.8. Destination will be 200.1.1.5. When this reaches to PA, what PA will do is he will change the destination over here. So the destination will become 192.168.10.1, okay, and the source will be 8.8.8.8. It doesn't mean that he is doing destination NAT, okay. Only the initiation part will be calculated or will be taken into the consideration, as there is already a initiation of the source is getting changed as the first time. There is no this is not called as destination NAT, no, because as the first time source has got changed, that is the reason it is known as source NAT. So you have to think about what direction the traffic is following. Accordingly you have to create a policy, right? So this was the static NAT. Now we have to go into and understand what is destination NAT. So now we'll try and understand what is destination static NAT, right? So I'll create a topology. The topology will be, let's say this is your web server. So this is web server. It's connected to a Palo Alto firewall, and this Palo Alto firewall again connects to internet. And on internet somebody is using this web server. So in this case, let's suppose the user IP address is a public IP address. So let's say 198.0.0.1, okay, and actual the web server is having private IP address which is 192.168.10.10, and this is the inside, so 192.168.10.1, which is a inside IP of Palo Alto. Outside IP is 200.1.1.1, and we are mapping this IP address to 200.1.1.10. Okay. Now, when this user initiates the traffic, what would be the source IP? Source IP would be 198.0.0.1. Okay, and the destination IP will be 200.1.1.10. Because the web server is publicly hosted, like the publicly exposed IP is 200.1.1.10, right? So when this user try to access this IP address, the Palo Alto gets it and he forwards the traffic to web server. How is that? The source will be 198.0.0.1. The Palo Alto is doing this. Okay, the destination will be 192.168.10.10. So in this case, what happens is the destination IP is getting changed, because if we change the user IP, how we will forward the traffic to user? He is on internet. Okay, so basically he is trying to access web server, and web server is having private IP address, and we are just natting the private IP address to public IP address so that he can reachable on internet, right? So the destination is getting changed. Destination is getting changed over here. Okay, so destination NAT, how it plays a role in Palo Alto firewall, will just go through the packet flow. So if we try and look at here, so the traffic comes and hits to Palo Alto firewall. Okay, and it does this one, the packet egress process, then egress error checks, inspection whether there is already a session or not, so all these things. And after that the traffic will move further. Okay, the traffic will move further and it goes to a slow path. Here he will check the forwarding, the routing lookup, and after that it will check the destination NAT. Okay, so here the NAT is happening first. So the NAT will happen, after that the rule will come into the picture. So when you configure an access list, you have to configure access list on these information. So when you write an access list, what would be the access list? The source will be 198.0.0.1 and the destination will be 192.168.10.10, right? So here first the NAT is happening and then the policy check is happening. So by the time he reaches from NAT to firewall policy, the destination is getting changed. So you have to write the access list based on that information. So whenever you write a policy, you have to think about when it hits to a Palo Alto firewall, what it is, whether we are doing a static NAT or whether we are doing a destination NAT, so that you will be able to understand and write the access list accordingly. Okay, now we'll hit the lab and we'll configure and we'll see how it is working. So friends, before configuring NAT, can we have a take a look on the topology and the IP schema? I have made it very simple. So if you see the host IP, you will be seeing ending with .1 here as well and here as well, and the gateways are configured with .10 here, here and here. So it's very simple, and what you can do is you can just take a screenshot. So maybe you can do one thing, like you can just go to snipping tool and you can just take a screenshot and you can just watch my video, okay, and see the topology simultaneously, so that it will be understandable for you. So whenever I configure Palo Alto firewall, you will be able to see those, right? So you can just minimize like this and you can just saw this. So this is how you can understand what is going to configure and what is happening, why we are configuring those things. Yeah. So we'll just try and log into the firewall now. So friends, we'll go to the network tab, and I have already configured the IP address, okay, of the interfaces, the zones and the virtual router. So I've added all the interfaces to the virtual router and I've configured the interfaces. So I have already shown that how to configure interface, zone and virtual router, how to add those interfaces to virtual router. I have already shown in my previous all the videos. If you can just go to the playlist, if you are not able to find in my channel, I can just put you in the I button, that link, as well as I can put that link into the description. You can find that playlist. Okay. Now the first thing what we are going to do is the source NAT that we are going to do now. So we'll go to the policy, okay, and first of all we'll configure a policy. Okay, so there it will be a very simple policy. It will be an access list. So as you guys have already known how to create those, so in to out, okay, and the source will be our inside, and the IP address will be 192.168.10./24. Okay, now I guess I'm configuring a NAT policy. Before that I need to configure a security policy. So I'll just create a security policy first. Okay, so inside to outside. Okay, now the source would be inside, the destination would be outside, and the source IP address, I'll just type it over here, 192.168.10.0/24. okay, the destination I don't know, that is internet, so will be any, and we just allow the rule. Now we'll go to NAT policy and we'll configure a static source NAT. Okay, so here I'm going from inside to outside. Okay, so the first zone thing will be inside. Okay, destination zone will be outside. Okay, now the source address is what? 192.168.10.1. so we are just doing static NAT. So static NAT will be 1 to 1. So I need to specify the address over here. Okay, and the translation will be static IP. So we need to mention over here. So we'll just mention IP address 192.168.179.140. Okay, so in this range I can just assign one IP address. So I just assign one IP address. Now we have an option, so somebody can access from outside as well to this PC if we click on this. So what I mean to say that if I click that option from internet, they will be able to access the PC as well. So right now we don't want that, so we'll just untick this and click OK. So we have created a rule, and after that we'll commit it. So the first thing what we have done is we have created a security policy and the NAT policy, and I showed you how to create a NAT policy, and before that we just need to create the interface, zone and virtual router, so that everything will be, the connectivity should be okay, then only that NAT and the security policy will be working. Now we'll go and log into the CLI, not this one. We'll go to CLI 192.168.1.1, right? Not okay. So admin and admin. Okay. So now once we access the internet, I'll be checking whether the NAT is performing correctly or not. Okay. So we'll try and access google.com and see whether it is accessible or not. Okay. So Google Images. So I am able to go to internet. Now we'll see in this source session all. Now as we can see here, there are a lot of connections which are already available over here. Now we can see that our 192.168.10.1 is getting translated to 192.168.179.40. Okay, but the destination is remain same. So here by seeing this one, we'll able to understand the source is getting translated but not the destination one, right? So wherever you see for this connection also, even if I try to show you the Google one, it everywhere the source is getting translated always, not the destination one. See, the destination IP address are same, but the source is getting changed. So this is how we can at least come to know that the source address is getting translated. So, and if you are not able to understand what exactly this means is, you can just go through this source port, zone, protection and translated IP and the port number. So this is what we see over here, right? If I take the example of this connection, so the source port number inside protocol 192, the destination, the source port number, so the port number will be always be same. It is not getting changed over here. So whatever the port number the user is coming with, the Palo Alto will do a translation and keep the port number same and sends it. So this is the record the Palo Alto will be keeping, and after that whenever it requires the return traffic comes, it checks it and forwards to the PC back. Okay. So friends, now we'll configure a static destination NAT. We'll see how the rules will be and then we'll discuss further. So we'll go and add a rule, NAT rule, and we'll type it as, we'll just give a name. So from outside to DMZ, the source zone will be outside, the destination zone will be DMZ, and the destination IP you have to give the original IP address. So maybe you can give a NATed IP address. So what I mean to say over here is you have to give NATed IP address, which means the IP, not the private IP address, but the public IP address you have to give over here. Okay, so you have to give a So I'm just giving a public IP address which is 192.168.179.150. Okay. Now you have to give a translated IP address. So translated means if we hit that public IP address, to which IP it will get NAT. So it will be the original IP address of the server. So static IP 192.168.20.1, which we can see over here. Okay, and will we click OK. So we have created a NAT rule. Now we'll go and create a simple security policy from outside to DMZ any. Okay, so from outside to DMZ. Okay, the source will be outside. Okay. So you guys can give the specific IP address and all, as it will get longer, need to create an object and all those things, so I don't want to do that. So source will be outside, destination will be DMZ. That is the reason I'm just allowing all. So you guys can do an experiment putting in source IP address, destination IP, and try and understand how the rules also are working over here. Okay, now, and also one more tip I just wanted to give you guys. So let's say when you put this any when you go to monitor and session browser, you will be able to see the source and destination IP. If you put one source and destination, if it is not working, put any and see the logs. So once you see the logs, you will be able to understand how the Palo Alto is recognizing the source and destination IP address. Okay, now and you can create the policy accordingly. Now we'll go and see the NAT rule and the security policy looks okay. Okay, now we'll see any sessions. Okay, so there are few sessions which is been initiated by our user PC, not from the server side. So now we'll log into the user machine. I guess we'll log into the user internet machine. Okay, and we'll go to the CMD and we'll try to ping. So which IP we are going to ping? The public IP address. So 192.168.179.150, right? So this will be 150. Okay, so we are good to go. So we'll do a ping. Now as we see that our request is failing out right now, so we'll just try and check here. So session on, as we can see, this packet, the source is remain same and the destination also remains same. There is no change in it. Do you know guys why? Because if when we configure a NAT policy which is coming from outside to inside, where the destination, what I mean to say here is, it has to be, I'll just configure first, okay, and just let you know guys. So we'll do a commit. So it is taking time to commit it. So once we commit, the ping is started, and when we see the logs over here, I'll just take an example of this. So now if I see 150 is getting translated to 20.1, but it was not happening here. Not this one, yeah, if we take this, so it was not happening. 150 to 150 it was happening, but right now it is happening. So you have to understand the logic of outside to outside. Okay, So what I can do is I'll just stop this ping first and I'll explain you guys why it is so. So what happens is, if this user initiates connections, okay, make it black so that it will be highlighted. So when this user initiates traffic and hits Palo Alto, so Palo Alto is doing NAT first, right? As destination NAT is first, DNAT. So where the destination NAT is happening? Outside. It's not been routed to DMZ, right? Before that, the NAT has happened, right? There is no rule checked or anything happened. What happened is, the NAT is happened on the outside interface. What I mean to say here is, so he initiated a traffic. The source would be 192.168.179.132 and the destination was 192.168.179.150. When this traffic hits to this firewall, the source remains same, but the destination changes to 192.168.20.1. So what happened exactly in the firewall is happened, as we can see in the packet flow, the DNAT happened first. So the DNAT happened on outside interface. Okay, that is the reason in the NAT policy we are specifying outside and outside. If we see logically, this is correct, but it is not accepting by us that why it is happening so. So what we can do over here is, when we configure a NAT policy, we have to specify outside, then only it will start working. Okay, so now I'll just give you a small tip for NAT troubleshooting. So what you can do is, let's say if you want to see whether is there any NAT policy exist for any particular source and destination, what you can do is test match. Okay, so test NAT policy match. The source IP is 192.168.10.1. okay, and the destination is 8.8.8.8. okay, destination port number will be, let's say, 53 DNS port number, and also we have to specify the protocol, so 17. Now we can see there is a source NAT already configured for 192.168.10.1 which is getting translated to 192.168.17.140. okay, so this is way you can at least find it out whether there is a NAT policy already exist on the machine for source to destination. So this is what I wanted to show in this video. If this video helps you improve your knowledge, please hit the like button. So the more you guys hit the like button, I'll get motivated and I'll create more informational videos. And also, if you have any feedback regarding my videos, you can put in the comment. And also, if you are new to my channel, you can just subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. So we'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Thanks so much for watching.